Okay, good evening. Thank you all for joining us today for CACRAO's Virtual College Exploration. We are the Carolinas Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Office and StriveScan offering these presentations this week, so we thank you all for being here. I just have a few quick housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can ask questions using the Q&A button located on your screen, and our presenters, our panelists, will be able to see those questions throughout the presentation. Your camera and your microphone are turned off, so the panelists can't see or hear you, but again, they will be able to see those questions in the Q&A. These sessions are being offered all of this week, so you can sign up for more at cacrao.org. That's CACRAO.org, and you can see that link right there on the screen. And this recording will also be available in about a week on www.cacrao.org. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our presenters.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. We are so excited for you guys to join us. My name is Marika Ivy, and I am an admissions counselor at William Peace University and also an alum, one of my favorite titles of being at this university. I'm going to go ahead and kick off today's presentation. I'm just briefly going to talk a little bit about William Peace University and then pass it on to Miss Annie Price, and then we'll pass it on to Miss Debbie Bell. We're really excited to be joining you guys this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly share my screen. So again, I am representing William Peace University. We are a small liberal arts institution located in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina, very close-knit community, and we offer really great opportunities for our students, specifically those who may be entering undecided. Believe it or not, this is incredibly common. Most institutions do things very similarly, and then some have some things that are very niche to their institution. So I'm just going to share briefly a few things that we do at William Peace University. Again, we are a small, close-knit community, so we do offer a lot of assistance to our students. One of those things being close mentorship relationships. So we have a very robust first-year experience program at William Peace University, and it is a required course that all incoming freshmen do take. We do pair you with a first-year mentor, otherwise known as your instructor, and also a peer mentor, because we do realize that sometimes there's going to be things that you need assistance with that maybe you're not comfortable yet going to an instructor for, so we do provide you with that peer mentor to assist you with that transition. These relationships, along with your academic advising relationship, as well as those that are accessible to you with our Center for Career Design, are all things that could really help students who may come in undecided. At William Peace University, we do have all freshman students enter undecided. People do come with an idea of what major they'd like, and we definitely can build their first semester schedule around that if they're interested. But we do give them until the end of their sophomore year to declare a major. Outside of that, we also have our PDS series, that would be our professional development series, and we offer courses 1 through 400 level. You can take one every year, and it helps you really explore your interests, your career interests, your personal interests, your life goals, and those kind of things really help students that are undecided to figure out what major that they may be interested in. And the last thing that we offer that we're really excited about is our immersive learning experiences. So you may have heard this term often. Some schools do refer to it as experiential learning or hands-on learning, but we have built our immersive learning into our curriculum. So every course is has heavy components of immersive learning where students will actually learn by doing and really get their hands dirty in different career fields. And why this is so useful is because you may have an idea of something you want to major in if you're undecided, but taking that class and actually getting into the field and actually, doing that applicable work may help you to make that decision. So these are just a few things of significant and special to William Peace University. As we open up for more questions at the end, after all of the panelists get a chance to talk, we can definitely go into more detail about some of the things that are unique to our university as we answer some of your questions. But that is essentially William Peace University and entering undecided in a nutshell. And then I have included some of our majors and minors here, as well as some of the top programs for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to Miss Annie Price, and she's going to tell you a little bit more about her institution and what they do for undecided majors.
Awesome. Thanks, America. I am going to screen share so y'all can see a little bit about my school, Charleston Southern University. So my name is Annie Price. I am the campus visit coordinator here. But like America's School, we also have a lot of great things if you are entering school undecided. We have, first and foremost, wonderful academic advisors. So even as an undecided major, you are paired with an advisor who is going to help you kind of figure out what you may want to do, kind of talk you through that process. But while you're deciding, we are a liberal arts core school, so that really helps you as well. Typically, your first 2 years, you're taking a lot of those liberal arts core classes, which are your English, math, science, history courses that everyone kind of takes just to get a really good worldview, that background. But once you move forward and kind of figure out what you may want to do, your academic advisor will help you in that. We also have a career center on campus that is a wonderful resource to utilize. They have a lot of like career aptitude tests, personality tests, resources such as that you can use if you aren't quite sure the avenue you want to go down yet. That can kind of point you in the right direction sometimes. And we also have a student success center, so they are always there if you need academic like help, tips and success tricks to help you out your first year, as well as going on forward throughout your sophomore, junior, and senior year. And then we also, kind of like America, we have an experimental learning initiative. So we call that ELI, but that does help kind of immerse you in something you may want to do career-wise. So if you want to do an internship, say if you're thinking about business and go just kind of work with a local business or maybe a larger corporation in the area, that ELI program allows you to do that, to kind of get your feet wet in that specific field. So we have a lot of resources like that for you as entering undecided. And then I've also included some things on the screen here that you can see. We have our top 5 academic areas, a lot of different programs that you can choose from as undecided. So a lot of different options for you there. And like America said, we'll have a Q&A at the end. So if y'all have any questions, you are more than welcome to ask then, but I will pass it on to Debbie.
If you can you hear me? Am I coming through? Are you guys able to hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Are you able to hear me? And all is audio coming through? No audio?
Hi, Debbie. We're able to hear you a little bit. It's a bit garbled. We do see you've got a connection, so we can try another way, perhaps.
Okay. Are you hearing me at all now?
Yes, actually, this sounds like you're connecting, so I think we're good to go.
Okay. Thank you guys for bearing with me this evening as I stumble through our technical difficulties on my end. My name is Debbie Bell. I am the Director of Regional Admissions here at St. Andrews University. Are you guys hearing okay still? Okay. I will continue, and if you have issues hearing me, let me know, and we'll jump on to question and answers. Here at St. Andrews, we do welcome students that come in as non-decided and undecided. We welcome those students to come in and explore all their options while at St. Andrews. We do not have you declare a major until the beginning of your junior year. That gives all our students an opportunity to explore different options. We have some students that might come in with very different and varied interests. Some come in and want to go into the medical field or the nursing field, but they also have a strong desire to study the literatures in English or political science. So we want our students to come in and explore all their options at St. Andrews. Like my co-panelists here, we really encourage our students to think outside the box while they're here for 4 years. We want you to think globally, which means maybe some study abroad while you're on campus, while you're in school. We also want you to consider the traditions that we have at St. Andrews. We want you to explore community-wise, as well as experience different cultures and all the things we have to offer. So as we're walking through and exploring all these with you, we ask you to please ask questions of us, and we'll be glad to help guide you through this process. At times it can seem overwhelming, but that's what we're here to help you do, as well as with your college advisors. So what I'd like to do now is open up the floor to questions and answers. There's a Q&A tab at the bottom. Please post your questions there. We will read your question aloud and answer it for all of the others that may have the same question. So let's start off with questions, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Debbie. So we do have one question, and you guys feel free to keep adding some more questions as we go along through the session. Our first question is a great one. Does a college application become more appealing if a major is decided? Specifically, if you have two applicants that are identical, except for one is decided and one is undecided, which would be a more attractive application? Annie, do you want to answer this one first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So for CSU, that is, I mean, either one is completely fine. It doesn't matter whether you're decided as a major or undecided. We are really looking to make sure you make those requirements of like your test scores, although we're test flexible right now because of the whole coronavirus situation. But those scores, looking at your transcript, your high school GPA, making sure you've had all the classes you need in high school. So really that's what's most important to us, not whether you're decided, undecided. You can take your time in deciding that. It's an important decision. And that's something our school, as well as my co-panelists, I know definitely want you to take the time to do. So it doesn't matter either way.
Debbie, did you want to weigh in on that as well?
I'm in total agreement. We handle that the very same way. And we really like for students to come in undecided. That way we can help work with them on an individual basis.
I would absolutely agree for William Peace University. Again, we don't require students to declare a major until the end of their sophomore year. And I'm sure that Debbie and Annie would fully agree with me when I say that it is extremely common for people to actually change majors multiple times throughout their 4-year or 6-year career in undergrad. So because of that, that's why most institutions give students so many semesters to decide, and really encourage students to take more of their prereq classes or their lib ed requirements if they're a liberal education school first, because they can dabble in different careers and different fields. So essentially to answer your question, no, one is not more desirable than the other. For William Peace University applicants, anyways, we don't actually look at intended major. It's just great for us to know so we can make sure we're getting you the information if you do have an idea of what you want to do ahead of time. Otherwise, it doesn't play any factor into you being admitted into the institution. Great question. So our next question, what is the difference between a major and a minor? when looking for a career? It's a great question. Debbie, I see you're unmuted if you want to go ahead and take this one.
Start saying I'll answer if you guys can hear me. A major is basically the one thing that you want to do. Your minor is something that you have a passion about. You would like to intertwine that into your career field, but it may not be the thing that you want to do the rest of your life. A prime example here at St. Andrews University is we might have someone come in and they want to major in nursing, but they want a minor in music. So their career field is going to be in the nursing field. But they may end up being a youth choir leader at church on Sundays. So we encourage you to do the major and the minor. I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, that was great, Debbie. I would have to fully agree. One of the biggest questions that we get is for students who want to do some sort of medical career. And so we have a lot of students come in and think that they have to major in biology or that they have to major in political science if they want to go to law school. And the truth of the matter is when you are looking into applying to graduate programs, they just want to make sure that you have the prerequisites necessary, as well as any entrance exam scores and community service or patient hours, whatever it is, depending on the graduate program you're applying to. But they essentially just want to know that you've completed a 4-year degree successfully and that you've met all prerequisites for that career field. So for example, from William Peace University, two of my closest friends that I graduated with were both psychology majors. One's currently in physical therapy school at Elon, and one is currently in occupational therapy school at Methodist, both pursuing doctorate degrees. And they were psychology majors because they were passionate about psychology. They loved it and they enjoyed it, but they actually chose biology as their minors so that they could go ahead and get the prerequisites they needed for graduate school. So that would be the main difference. But we always encourage students to connect with advisors at William Peace University because they could definitely help you to really comb through both. Annie, I'm going to hand this next question over to you if you would like to answer this. So how does an undecided major factor into merit scholarship awards?
Awesome. So at CSU, we actually, all our freshmen receive an academic scholarship, and that is whether you are undecided major or a decided major, it does not matter whatsoever. You are automatically going to receive one of those as soon as we receive your application and you become an accepted student. That is when that process begins on our end with our financial aid department. But it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're decided or undecided.
Debbie, does that ring true for St. Andrews as well?
Very much so. Absolutely.
And I would have to agree as well. It does not factor into merit scholarship awards for us at William Peace University. I will say if you are looking for outside scholarships, those are ran and governed and funded by outside organizations and outside entities. So they may be looking for students that are specifically interested in a certain major. But as far as institutions go, well, I'll speak for our institutions on the panel. It does not affect your merit because merit is given to you solely based off of your grades or what you're coming in with to the institution, depending on how they evaluate merit. But major selection doesn't have anything to do with it for our institutional merit either. All right, our next question. What happens if we are entering as a junior and are still not sure of what we want to major in? It's a great question.
So I would say for CSU, if you have a lot of credits like that coming in, I would just speak really with your academic advisor, have like a really honest conversation with them. If you are at that point where you really don't know exactly what you want to do yet, they can sit down with you, kind of go through what you have. Maybe you've taken more classes in one subject compared to another and don't realize that you actually like that, but you do in reality. So they can help you kind of see that, kind of point you, maybe kick you in the direction you might need to go. But that is what they are there for, to help you. So I'm sure that's the truth with all the other institutions. That would be advice there. We also, like Career Center, Student Success Center, they can help you. Maybe that would be the time to take one of those career aptitude tests to see, kind of get an idea of what might be good for you. You just might not have seen it in writing before. So that would be for CSU, kind of what I would recommend there.
One track that we have at St. Andrews is we have what we call an interdisciplinary major, almost like a contract major, where you can take the two things that you're passionate about and we will connect them and make a major for you. So that's one option as well with us.
I love that, Debbie. And we are a liberal institution, so we do have an interdisciplinary major as well. It's very liberal, liberal education based. By the time you are a junior at William Peace University, if you have not yet declared, you would have likely at least completed or fulfilled your liberal education requirements. To receive a BA or a BS, you would need 160 credits. So at that point, and every major, I should say, is different depending on how many credits go towards the bulk of the degree, but the liberal ed requirements remain the same. It's 39 credits at William Peace University. So by the beginning of your junior year, you've already probably met that. So we would gear you towards the interdisciplinary major. We would continue to work with you, continue to do academic and advising and coaching, do personality assessments with you, really make sure that you're getting in some 300 or 400 level courses with immersive learning to get you that more hands-on experience. But we do have the ability to sort of build your own for certain majors that have less required credits for the degree fulfillment. And essentially what that means is biology might have 50 that you need, and writing may have 30 that you need. So you can kind of mix and match and kind of create your own learning experience that way, very similar to what Debbie was explaining. Awesome. So we will head to the next question. We have a lot coming in. This is really great. So for those schools who are test optional, are there other areas of the application that weigh heavier? Are there any new aspects to the application that you have added in place of the SAT, ACT? It's a great question.
So for CSU, in place of the SAT, ACT scores, we still recommend, if you have taken those tests, to send those scores into us. We do super score. So if you've taken the test more than one time, or if you've just taken it once, we're always going to take the highest score from each section. So that is only going to benefit you. But if you haven't taken those tests at all, we will look first at your high school GPA. And then based on that, we may ask you for some other supporting documents, such as a resume, letters of recommendation, an essay, different things like that, just to kind of show and back up your credibility as a student.
We at St. Andrews, we're doing the same thing as Annie mentioned. We are only test optional temporarily. After COVID, we will go back to our SAT and ACT requirements. But currently, we're putting a lot of weight on the GPA. We're also looking heavily at that transcript to see the classes that you have taken. We want all our students to really concentrate on academics and try to take those honors classes as well as those AP. So we are looking heavily at the transcript. And as Annie said, we also may be reaching out for other things, such as an essay, maybe a recommendation from your current instructor, which would be one of your primary classes. So we are putting a lot of emphasis on that transcript. So work hard this year, everybody.
Yeah, so very similar. We at William Peace University are so excited to have Move Test optional. This is going to present a lot of opportunities for us. We were really big on looking at a holistic application before, but now this just gives it a whole new meaning, and we're very excited. We have added some new short answer components to our application as opposed to the traditional essay that we used to have. This just gives us really the opportunity to measure students' grit, really measure their learning, how they learn, and if that'll fit best with our immersive learning curriculum, and really just get to know them and why they think William Peace University would be a good fit. So as Debbie and Annie mentioned, there's going to be very heavy emphasis on transcripts this year, and more specifically, what we mean by that is we're going to be looking more into your core classes. I think in the past, most institutions definitely looked at a GPA just as a GPA as a whole, but without having those test scores, it's going to be more important to see how students are performing in the core classes, the language arts, the math classes, the science classes, as opposed to maybe the PE classes or the art classes, more of the extracurriculars. We'll also be offering admissions interviews, which we're very excited about, and we are always open to any sort of letters of recommendation or resume that a student wants to submit, just to help speak on their behalf. I'm going to go and answer this next question because I believe we kind of already did as a panel. So, and a great question, but would it be worth it to apply with a declared major if it presented more scholarship opportunities? So again, great question. Our three institutions do not give scholarships based off of major, but if you are applying for an outside scholarship, again, that could be very helpful. And I do want to just caveat that and just clarify, we do actually at William Peace University offer a theater scholarship. So sorry, I do want to clarify that. If you are going to be pursuing your Bachelor of Fine Arts in theater or musical theater at William Peace University, there is an audition component at which point you can be granted a theater scholarship. Outside of that, we don't offer any specific scholarships to students. However, most students know without a doubt that they're coming in to pursue theater or musical theater. But yeah, for outside scholarship opportunities, if you're really leaning towards political science and you see some scholarship opportunities that are going to be offering those to students who are declared political science, it could be in your interest. I also do just want to say there are a lot of education scholarships out there where students who want to pursue a career in teaching, they can have loans paid back or they can get scholarships. Those students are required to continue on the educational path, and a lot of those loans and or grants do also come with some sort of contract where a student has to teach at a specific school or in a specific area to fulfill the requirements of that loan or that, or sorry, grant or that scholarship. But again, those are provided by outside sources. None of our three institutions provide those, right, ladies? Just want to make sure. Okay, I see the head nods. Awesome. All right, so we will move to the next question. Do you offer on-campus tours? We are currently offering virtual tours at William Peace University, and we're really excited to roll out our on-campus tours in just a few short weeks. We just want to make sure that we have all of our I's dotted and our T's crossed so that everybody is being safe and healthy. But I'll open it up to Annie to share what Charleston's doing, and then Debbie, if you want to share as well.
Yeah, so CSU is still offering on-campus visits, so you are more than welcome to come if you want to come tour CSU. Because of the coronavirus, though, we are limiting our tour groups to only one student and probably parent, most likely the person you're going to bring. So two people can come with you. Just kind of limit that exposure on campus for both you as well as our students. So we are doing that. We're also doing virtual visits if you want to tour our campus virtually. We have a virtual open house coming up. So we are offering a few different ways you can view campus, if you will. But to answer your question, yes, we are doing on campus right now.
St. Andrews University is offering on-campus tours as well. We have been since around the middle of May. We do require that you wear a mask and you bring only two family members with you, or two folks visiting with you. We will social distance you. There will be always 6 feet between your party and students or other folks visiting. We will also take your temperature while you're on campus before we allow you to enter our buildings. And you will be given a wristband, as well as our students are wearing wristbands to let us know that your temperature is fine and that you can enter our buildings. But we are doing in-person, on-campus visits, as well as, like Annie said, we are doing the virtual visits as well. You just go to our website and click on visit and choose the visit of your choice.
Awesome. So we have a few more minutes and some really great questions I want to make sure we can get to. This next question, I believe, is going to be the same for all three of us, regarding what financial aid is usually offered to students. You would need to file your FAFSA, which does open October 1st, to find out which financial aid you're going to be eligible for. That's going to tell the institution what state, local, federal, and institutional grants or loans that you could be eligible for. So it's going to be very important that you file that. And then keep in mind that different states have different things that they can offer to students that are in state versus out of state. Then there is the merit component or the inside scholarships that the institution themselves give. But as far as financial aid goes, you would need to file that FAFSA to see what's going to be offered to you in your full award letter. Are you guys in agreement? Annie, I see the head nods. Okay. Debbie, do you want to add?
We offer athletic scholarships as well. So we do academic scholarships first, based on normally SAT and ACT scores, as well as GPA. And then the coach would offer those athletic scholarships on top. And then if you're an honor student, that's on top of that. And there again, if you're a pre-vet, anything specific major, those scholarships are layered on top of the other ones.
Awesome. And our next question, do the classes that you take in high school contribute to your major? I'll pass this on to you, Annie.
Awesome. So I would say yes and no for that. It really will depend on the class you take, whether that's a dual enrollment credit, AP, whatever that may be. At CSU, probably my other co-panelist institutions as well. We have our registrar evaluate it officially, that credit. So whether it comes in as an elective or a main core course, it will really depend on that evaluation. So they will let you know exactly what it will transfer in as, but most likely at every school it will transfer in as something.
I agree. It's the same at our institution as well. Awesome. Thank you so much, Annie. All right, our next question. Who would recommend you if you're homeschooled? It's a great question. Debbie, I'll pass it to you if you'd like to answer.
Will you ask that question again?
Yeah, absolutely. Who would recommend you if you're homeschooled? So I'm going to assume if this was somebody just writing a letter of recommendation on the student's behalf.
Absolutely. In that case, we would look at the recommendations that you sent in. We would discuss it with you. Most of our homeschool students are also taking classes in a community college by the time they get to their junior or senior year. It may be their English or math that they're taking as a dual enroll type class. We might ask for that professor. If you're very active in your community, we would take that recommendation. If you're doing any type of internship as a homeschool student, we would take that employer's recommendation as well. So homeschool students, we would definitely look at all our options, and we would take the ones that you feel and we feel are most beneficial for the student.
I would have to agree. Anybody who can speak on your behalf, really speak to your grit, how hard you can work. I mean, it can be a family friend that you've been babysitting for, for the past 3-4 years. Any professional letter of recommendation that is signed and does provide some sort of contact information, we can take. If anybody who can speak to who you are, either in the classroom or outside of the classroom, we can take that recommendation. And we've even taken them from parents before who have homeschooled the student, because surprisingly, they will tell the truth and they will not go honest on, or not go hard on, go very hard on the student, even if they are the parent. So anybody who can speak to how you work in or outside the classroom, we can accept that letter of recommendation.
I definitely agree with what Debbie and Marika said. Really, anyone who can speak to your character, your work ethic, who we want to write your recommendation letter at CSU. The only other example I could think of is maybe a pastor if you've been attending a church for a while. We're a Christian institution, so we definitely welcome that. But all the other examples Marika and Debbie provided are absolutely amazing. Any of those individuals would be great for a recommendation letter.
Awesome. We have a little over 5 minutes or 7 minutes and 2 really great questions I want to make sure we can all get to. So this next one is, if your highest composite score on one ACT is equal to that of your super score rounded, should you only submit the composite score from the one ACT, or should you submit scores from different attempts? I will tell you from William Peace University's standpoint, we always tell students to submit everything you have. We do super score, so we'll take the highest of every single one of your attempts, even if they're from different dates, and piece them together to give you the highest average. So I always tell students, don't try to do the math on your own. Don't try to figure out what's highest on your own. Just send me everything you have, because we're going to absolutely do our best to give you the best chance at getting that merit scholarship on our end.
Charleston is exactly the same way. We super score. So that highest score from any of the portions across any of the test dates, that is what we're going to take. And like I mentioned earlier, that is only going to benefit you in terms of scholarships, different things like that. So definitely send in all those scores.
I'm going to say ditto to the other ladies. St. Andrews University wants all those scores as well. I don't know about my colleagues, but I bet that sometimes it's happened to all of us that we can look at scores and we'll go, ooh, what happened to this student here? This score 2 months ago was so much higher, and now they've had a slump. Usually it will also reflect on their transcript, so that's a conversation piece we like to have with our students. What happened? A lot of times it's easily explained. I just had a student tell me her 17-year-old cat had just passed away. She had a bad test score. So we like to see all those scores, and we like to talk to you about them.
And I'll add to, some students will only send in an ACT because they think their SAT is not that great, and vice versa. Always send in both. Scholarship structures for different institutions can change by year, but I'll tell you, in my time at being at William Peace University, we have used calculations, we've used scales, and sometimes the calculation, really what you think might look better on the ACT versus your SAT is actually wrong. You actually may have gotten more money if you had submitted the SAT. So just always submit them all, because you never know what you could be eligible for. All right, our last question. We're going to end on a really great question. What are some good resources for deciding on a major? This is a really great question. I would say there are so many free online assessments that you can take, personality assessments, career assessments that you can take to really kind of gauge your interest. And that's, if nothing, just a really good start. It could at least get your mind and your wheels turning on some things that you've never thought about before that could be a great career path for you. So that would be my suggestion. I do want to make sure that Annie and Debbie can answer before we end here in the next few minutes. So I'm going to pass it on.
What I would say, and what we like to say at St. Andrews, is explore your options. Maybe you really didn't have a great chemistry teacher, or maybe you didn't connect in your science lab. And once you got into a college environment, you realized that really you're a good science student and that's your passion. So I like to say explore all your options those first 2 years. Try it all, and then zero in your junior year on what you feel your passion really is.
I definitely agree with what Merica and Debbie said. I would honestly just say keep an open mind when you come into college. Being a liberal arts core school, taking those classes in every subject pretty much will kind of give you a good idea maybe what you're more interested in compared to the other subjects. Also right now, definitely take advantage of researching. Like Merica said, there are plenty of resources online. Also, still being in high school, y'all probably have the source of going and job shadowing. Take advantage of that as well. So just kind of a combination of all of those things, but just really kind of explore your options.
And I will say, if you've not heard of the VIA assessment, it is a free strengths assessment online. We actually have it built into our first year experience here at William Peace University. So all of our first year students do take that. Really knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are could really also help you zero in on a career path that might be really great for you and really collaborate well with your personality. So again, that's the VIA assessment. It is free online and it's pretty quick. And I would also recommend that as a resource as well. It has been so great talking with all of you guys. I believe we're going to end here in just a minute, but we want to thank you guys so much. All of our institutions will be having individual info sessions coming up in the next few weeks, so please be on the lookout. We really enjoyed getting the chance to chat with you guys today, and thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you all of our panelists for a great session, and all of our participants for your questions. We had a really nice discussion this evening, so appreciate you all participating. There's a quick survey at the end after I close out the webinar. Just 4 questions. They're going to pop up on your screen, so please go ahead, and we'd appreciate it if you filled that out. And then if you want to sign up for more sessions, there's plenty more this week at CACRAO.org, CACRAO.org, and this recording will also be available in about a week on that same website. Thanks everyone, and have a wonderful evening.